world like over 20 years ago. It keeps going, whether I'm writing or not. Life just keeps going forward in that world. I have about 5,000 years in the past, 5,000 years in the future, to the first point of me logging the journey. It keeps building, it keeps referencing. Characters evolve, they have such in depth stories, it's ridiculous. I can pick so many stories out of this world. And I only follow one bloodline, which now I follow a second bloodline, and I'm trying to get the chaos, some kind of, I need to be sedated, I swear. It's crazy how much information is in here on the world I created. With that being said, the funny part about writing books with so much knowledge in your head that you don't even have to think about half the stuff you do when it comes to writing your books. Information will literally put itself like an auto input. For a good example of what just happened, I'm writing a scene where they just finally left the bakery and finally going to the clothing store, which will end this chapter, I guess. It's going to be a two-part chapter. It's going to be weird. But they were reading this map they didn't know existed, which it was never planned to exist. It just happened. And she made a notation. My character, who thought for herself as usual, happened to see something in the map I didn't plan, I didn't even think about. And now there's lore she just added that comes in play in book four, which is something that's 800 years from this moment. Think about it for a moment. I didn't plan it. I didn't decide anything. My character just decided, oh, wait a second. What's this I see in the map? Oh, wait, what's these two things? And then doesn't think anything of it after that. It's a thought that she just happened to see on the map. But the funny part is, those two things she just pointed out on the map actually play a role in book four. And it's not something I have to remember because apparently my brain is still processing book four because I'm trying to write it at the same time as book two. The massive thing of that book, and that book four is going to be so many different books. I'm writing a series of 15 books, and book four became its own series. It has like seven, maybe now eight. I do not know. It just keeps on evolving. But yeah, so I'm what they would call a planner because, like I said again, my world was created 20 years ago. It's been just keeps going. I've I wrote book one in 2013, or at least that's when I officially had it publicated and copyrighted. Everything kept going and gears turning, even though I didn't write for another 10 years because life just got in the way, and that's just how it is. Yeah, writing is a process. It takes time. Some people can do it fast, some people can do it slow. What's sad is I actually have all these books pretty much mapped out in my brain, and I could write them all out pretty fast if I just didn't hate my job and every job I've ever had because they suck the life out of me and they're too demanding and I can't get a break. Anyway, yeah, so as a writer, if you're a planner, just realize that you can plan anything you want in this darn existence, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they're going to do, and you just get to enjoy the ride because that's all it is a giant ride, and you just keep going. The two girls right now that I'm trying to get written for book two, absolute hilarious. They are constantly adding more and more and more. Chapter 16 was actually the last chapter, technically, when I first wrote the story, drafted it out. like well, no, technically it was 6 years ago. But I was slowly writing it and went through a draft or two, and then we're at the present where they added like crazy amounts of chapters. So it's just been weird. I'm on draft 3, and I added 3 chapters, and one of those chapters was divided into 4 chapters because it was too darn big, and I thought people would lynch me for writing one chapter at 37K words. Um, Most chapters are 3K usually. I mean, you get the occasional 7 in some books, I'm told, but I had 37K. And whereas I will never be in traditional publishing, I don't believe in traditional publishing in any way, shape, form. Um, no one should have requirements, no one should have rules, no one should do anything to alter their world. I mean, getting it to sound correct, getting it realistic, believable and stuff like this. These are important things, but word count shouldn't matter. I mean, yes, people need breaks, so it's good to try and keep a consistent low amount in your chapters. Just write 1,000 chapters if you have to, whatever. But word count as a whole should not matter, and it doesn't matter unless you're a traditional publisher, because apparently they give a crap and they shouldn't. Don't stifle yourself. Don't cut things out just because people tell you to. Authentic writing is basically dead right now because everyone's listening to publishers. And it's a shame because a lot of stuff comes into your head to write down for a reason. All the stuff I write down leads to new results, new information you really should have in your book. If you delete it before it festers enough in here, you could lose so much critical information and even more connection with your characters. So I tell you this right now, don't delete anything that you write down. Write it down. I mean, it might not fit yet, but it sure will make itself fit later. Writing is a process, and it takes time. You'll see people saying like they've been writing books and getting them done in 3 months. That's great. You know how much information you probably left out and not know it? I have been pondering over my world for 20 years, and I have so many stories that branch off of each other, so much knowledge that branches off from each other. And it's because I never delete. Because in life, you can't delete. If you think about it, you live every day, right? You live every day, experience everything. You've had mistakes. You've had days you wish never existed. Can you delete them? No. You learn from them, but you can never delete them. That's the whole reason why we have so many people going crazy, because they can't undo what they wish they could. So why are we doing that in our writing? Think about that for a minute. How much does it take? How much time does it take to process trauma? Your lifetime. It's the same for your characters. So think about when you write, how important is it to you to stay true to your characters? I'll tell you right now, I treat all my characters the same. They are my best friends. You know why? Because as long as you rely on them to give you full disclosure, they rely on you to handle them ethically and honorably. They have a story to tell, and they want it told on their terms, and they have every right. They're the ones living it. Think about that. So that's my advice to you guys: is try to. delete little as possible, write it obviously correctly, present it truthfully, but watch what you do because you literally could erase things that could destroy good connections. Don't burn a bridge that you don't need to burn, and stop letting people tell you how to write your books when it comes to word count and how many chapters a book should have. And so, it's all BS. Stories as long as it needs to be. Period. And don't be afraid to write a huge book and then split it into two, because that is the thing. That's actually what a lot of authors of the day did. They'd write a massive book. They just keep going until the story completed itself. And if it was big, they'd just chop it into other books. And they didn't do this out of any reason other than to make it so that it was palatable. Because people don't want to read a a book like this big all in one shot. It's better to make them into a smaller things so that they can read one book and they don't have to keep moving on to each book. They can read one book, go on to someone else's book, and then come back to book two and book three and so on and so forth. The other advice I would tell you that would be very helpful to readers: number your darn books, because apparently no one understands how to do this. It's called book one, book two, book three, book four. Just put that in the damn book. Seriously, it's not that hard. And almost every reader in this entire world will thank you for it. It's not hard. Number your darn books. That's my advice for now. Happy writing, happy reading.